Today I'm talking about performance media, and it's part of our advertisement industry. And I want to tell you how advertising media makes desirable advertisement again for us. And also I will be a bit talking about how we can get user attention back while we are also protecting the privacy of our users. So let's get started. I'm Holger Hellinger, and I'm from the German Publicis Sapient office in Cologne. So EK already introduced me, and it's possibly, it's visible or audible that I'm from Germany with my accent. Yeah. So I'm leading the German experience technology domain, and I'm helping our clients to create web pages and also help just our project leads to just perform better in projects. Personally, I'm pretty sensitive about my privacy, and so I'm only registered in Twitter or in other social media channels with pseudonym names. So at the end, you will find my name, but it's not Holger Hellinger, so you'll see it. Yeah. Recently, I started carrying this small hardware ledger. I did not expect that the room is so big. Yeah, so the people that don't see it here, it's a hardware wallet where I store my Bitcoins and my Ethereums on. And when I started looking into this topic, I did really not expect that I will need that or that I can need that in digital advertisement. So to give you a broad oversight, I want to tell you what kind of advertisement is out there beside digital advertisement. Here in Bangalore, you might remember this advertisement by Ariel. It was shown with a white blanket that is cleaned up perfectly. It was also displayed here in Bangalore. Yeah? So I found out that I found that on a top 10 billboard charts from India. Yeah? So cleaning powder or similar commercials, soap commercials, don't do such commercials. Yeah? This is really nice. It's memorable. You maybe remember it when you have seen it, yeah? But also me, just seeing that on the top 10 page, just said me, hey, I remember that. That's fine. Yeah. Brands are doing this advertisement. They need to reach mass people. So they do that on newspapers, they do that on television, they do that on billboards, everywhere. We all know some of them, and we remember them maybe. But do we recall digital advertisement often? Not really. So I checked when I started researching the Times of India, and are there any good ones? I think any of these are really rememberable. And when you really look on this page, there's only advertisement. Yeah? So there's really only advertisement and the Times of India title. Yeah? And so I expected content because I wanted to see something about India. I wanted to read something about India. Even working 10 years already, or more than 10 years at Sapient, and knowing my teams in India, or Mooring, or Gowan. Yeah? So this fools the internet, yeah? The advertisement. So we get paid from advertisement. But when I ask publishers or also brands why they are advertisement, they say, well, they want to finance the content. But look at this. This is not content. This is just advertisement. So they finance something else. Yeah? Not only content. In fact, it's really like digital advertisement is under attack. I have not thought that when I started the research on this topic, but I'm really under the impression that digital advertisement is under attack. What kind of attacks do I talk about? There are three main threats that I will cover, and that is blocking, fraud, and malware. And so let's look first at blocking. It's interesting. India and Germany, we are equally blocking advertisement. That is nice. Yeah? So we have something in common here. Yeah. According to PageFair, yeah, the whole blocking of advertisement devices or devices of the whole blocking of devices, yeah, that are in the internet or that are online, will grow up to 650 million devices. So now we're already more than 30 or nearly 30% of the devices are blocking. Yeah? Do we still reach the right people? I'm questioning that. Then there is also fraud. Some countries like Japan, yeah, they already reach 80% of programmatic traded banners. So fraudulent ads or programmatic traded banners, yeah, that means that they only are created to generate revenue or on publisher pages to trick users into clicks. That are not real clicks, yeah. That are invisible banners, iframes, and they are just creating revenue for bad guys, yeah. This is also typically called click checking. Yeah. Additionally, there are already a lot of bots doing that for the people that are doing that advertisement. I was told by a director of media in New York, yeah, from a media agency, they are not too uncommon, that they are already starting doing TV advertisement again because it's better and has more revenue for them. Augustine Fu, she's an independent fraud researcher. She said that the fraudulent ads are on an all-time high. Yeah? So they did tests where they bought traffic for fraudulent ads, and they were able to return 45 times of that invest. You see the numbers here? That is incredible. I can see that this is a business for bad guys. Publicis owns, for example, $4 billion of ad revenue or ad budget. Just imagine 1 billion of that 4 billion is digital advertisement. And you can just reduce fraud 10%. We will have $100 million left that we can do so much more with, yeah, for better content, better advertisement, whatever. And additionally, yeah, let's now come with this to malvertisement. Malvertisement is called, you have possibly also have seen that when you're not using an ad blocker, yeah, that you are redirected to a page where you did not want it to go, yeah, or you are getting some login screens from Twitter that try to get your login data. Yeah. This is heavily increasing. It has been increased about 133%. The formerly mentioned redirects have been increased 1,000%. It's really unbelievable, shocking, increasing. As shown before, yeah, that extremely big increase is just coming because we are using third parties. Yeah. We are just installing or just including, embedding this in our software, in our web pages. And the possibility to execute that code, that JavaScript code, on our web pages, yeah, offers a lot of possibilities. Meanwhile, on Reddit, they found out that a lot of that hacker forums there execute in the background mining software, yeah, to create Bitcoins or Ethereum, whatever that you can imagine. Yeah. So they consume your computer power and your energy that you are investing. Additionally, it's also used for DDoS attacks or something like that. Digital advertisement is under attack. The financing of the content that we are just used, yeah? So you're used to go to GitHub and just browse the pages, get what you want. Yeah? Do you want to go to the Times of India and read the news? Yeah? You want to go to MSN and get some information. Yeah? This is under attack. We as developers, but also as consumers, yeah, we will not have free content anymore, yeah, when we don't have digital advertisement. So how can we fight all that issues that I have shown? And where did all that issues start? According to Fortune, Google and Facebook, yeah, takes up 73% of the ad dollars. And they own 99% of the growth. It's incredible. Everyone else in the advertisement world need to share the rest. And that's not a lot, yeah? So that means all publishers and brands share the rest. Yeah. Let me show you how this works in a typical demand-side platform. A demand-side or the data management platforms and demand-side platform setups, yeah, are handling providing advertisement via middlemen. That does not allow any direct connect like you are used to between a consumer and a brand. You know, normally when you're going to a shop, you have a direct connect. Yeah. The middlemen on the selling and on the buying side, they own all our data. So the real connect between consumers and advertisers is only happening when you are clicking on a banner. A lot of money is moved in that system. I want to show you how that money is moved. So you see that the same slide from before, and the consumer and advertiser brand interconnection is set up like that. Then you add into the system, $1 as a brand. And we said before that Google and Facebook is mostly owning everything. So they get 73 cents of that $1. Additionally, we have the agencies, mostly us, like Publicis Sapient, and the publisher side, that share the rest, the 27 cents. And before I talk from malware, we have the fraud that takes up to 80% in Japan, for example. And we have our own, or our consumers, privacy and ad blockers. So you can imagine that from that 27 cents and 80% fraud, there's 5 cents left for the publishers, for their content, for what we want to consume. So they don't have anything left. Advertising is broken. How did it get so far? Brands need to expose their products to their customers, to us, even when we are just there as a developer browsing a page. There's an interesting history of advertisement, just give you a broad oversight. The cave painting started. People just painted something on a wall, and you looked on it, and then they shared it for their ancestors, and that was just there. They had to tell something. They wanted to show something. There was the Ephesus floor ad. That's one of the first known ads. It's in stone, and it showed to a nearby brothel. And in Europe or in Germany, we say that the advertisement business is the second oldest business of the world. That's possibly one of the reasons. Then there was the first billboard released in 1835 by a circus, some in between, but also 1994. There was the first banner done by AT&T, and that was really this banner. That was really lurking people into a click. And then there were Google AdWords in 2000. We all know Facebook from 2007 on, or the Instagram ads that we are currently having. This is all targeting people. And advertisement tries to get people into the sales funnel. And I just want to quickly give you an oversight while people need to get into that sales funnel and why we need to have that mass advertisement. First, you need to create awareness for a product. And then you create some interest on for the people or for your consumer, or even for you when you want to buy software. Consider it. If you want to buy it, you create or you develop an intent, and then you evaluate if you want to buy that. And later, you maybe purchase it. So imagine you're putting 10,000 people crossing your store or visiting your website in an hour, and at the end, one person is buying something. So if you are able to get 20,000 people by your store or on your webpage, you maybe have the chance to sell 2 things. So what does the industry spend year by year? This is just growing. From 2015 with $161 billion, it has been growing, or it will grow up in 2020 to $335 billion. But as the spending increases, also the ad blocking costs increase. And globally, that will be up to $78 billion costs in 2020. So why do people block ads? We saw before the issues. So asked on PageFair, people returned that mostly it's security related. So more than 30% of the people said it's security related. I'm afraid. There were 29% of the people saying I'm interrupted. The advertisement is not following my way of I want to use the web page. And there were 16% of the people just selling it's just killing the performance of the page. I don't want to see that. So PageFair also found out that adblock users are more likely to be better educated. So 45% of 100 Americans that have been surveyed here had a bachelor's degree or above. Just curious, are you using ad blockers? Well, it looks like that 30% that we had up here, yeah? But you are causing costs, yeah? You are really taking up of that budget, 25% of that budget that we saw before. But you possibly don't block because you are mean or because you want to tease someone. Yeah? You're just doing it to protect yourself. So you see, advertising techniques are struggling because of our privacy concerns that we have, or the consumer's privacy concerns. Trusted information exchange will make advertisement programs more targeted, and we will get back the consumer attention. I'm pretty sure that this will happen. Currently, consumers and brands do not interact directly. So let's help to direct connect and get rid of the middlemen. Help consumers and brands to get to know each other again. We can use data tools for that. We can provide the tools. We as technologists, we are able to offer that data tools that consumers and advertisers can consume that and interact and share that data again. Instead of fetching that data repeatedly with third-party tools and try to match that. Vendor relationship management is doing something like that, but this is also valid for performance marketing or performance media. Doc Searles is an author of a book that's called Intention Economy, and he wrote that sentence in 2012 that he said, we need freedom of contracts between brands and the consumers again. And like I said before, he describes that in a vendor relationship management context, but this is really valid for interacting and communicating with marketing technologies. So a step into such a tooling could be something like decentralizing the advertisement system. So that means that third parties are currently just using everything. But in law, like I told before, consumers and the brand are the first two parties that are interacting in between. And the third parties are the ones that are just having an personal interest. It's not 100% matching that, but like you're paying with your credit card when you're in the shop. So you are buying something, but there's your credit card in between. There are rumors that Facebook is planning an own cryptocurrency, but I'm not sure if we should trust them cross channels. So we need to remove that third parties. We need a decentralized advertisement system. A decentralized advertisement system will be based on a contract between the consumers and the brands. That means that the consumer is fetching the brand and is not getting it pushed. And that means that the brand is offering the advertisement and the consumer can pick it and can just say, I want to consume that. Today the systems are still with cookies or sharing personal information with the third parties. So the users do not have that control. In this system, the user has the control. So let's be and get ahead and replace the third parties. Don't waste time and resources of your consumers, but also from you as developer, a responsible developer. But please prevent issues like forcing users into systems that they don't want. You have possibly seen ad walls like this before. So when you are currently coming on web pages like the Business Insider in UK and you're using an ad blocker, you just get forced into buy and removal pass, or you can't see our page. So statistics show that 70% of the people don't come back. But before we showed that, we want to show content, but we can't show content when the people are just leaving. Only 25% or around about 25% are really buying a pass and getting, removing the ad blockers. So this is the old style. Yeah? This is really like user, visitor needs to surrender. You can do that different. PopCrush, for example, is doing that. Yeah? So they have this ad block or ad wall installed. And they are supporting Brave. That's a new full ad blocking browser. And that is based on the Chromium engine. Yeah? So they try to get the user attention. The Brave browser is founded by Brandon Eich. He is the founder of Mozilla, or co-founder of Mozilla, and he is also base writer of the JavaScript script language. So they allow still to block, so you can block, but they offer possibilities. So they want to get the user's attention. And this would also solve some legal problems with the European General Data Protection Regulations that have been released this year in Europe. I will say GDPR in the next minutes, otherwise I'm always have that tongue breaker. Yeah. GDPR has been introduced to protect the consumers in Europe. That means you are not able now to collect analytics data anymore. Yeah. Does this mean that we need to ask the user all time like this? No, please, and I don't want to prevent that you're reading that. Yeah? So that brings challenges to publishers because repeatedly coming on the page when you don't accept cookies, you are asked for accepting statistics, analytics. The people will just not like that, and you want the people coming on your page and consume your content. And additionally, GDPR caused massive issues to the system when it was released. On 25th May in 2018, yeah, when it was when the enforcement was coming in place, yeah, there were a plummet or decrease of the revenue of programmatic traded ads, yeah, from 45%. That's incredible. Yeah. And when the companies have been asked in the beginning of 2018 if we are prepared for GDPR, yeah, 97% said, no, we aren't. So that was the result. So how can we collect user attention? User data must really be safe and targetable for the user. It's his user attention. Think of all the channels that we are just daily dealing with, yeah, that we are using, email, location-based services, or browsers, whatever, yeah. And that's only, yeah, a subset of what we are doing daily. Yeah. So one solution will be or can be the basic attention token that is introduced by that team by that Brave team that I told before. Yeah. That is a zero knowledge ledger, yeah, that is based on the Ethereum in blockchain. Yeah. Zero knowledge means that the interaction in between the blockchain is just happening without knowing from each other. How does the bot, yeah, stores attention? Yeah, and what is the difference to, you would say, that's just another third party. So they completely decouple the consumer from the brand. So they say, yeah, they will just base that on a planned advertisement network that is planned to be out in autumn 2018. So look out, it's nearly there. Yeah. The calculations for the attention that I mentioned before, that they different to currently. Yeah, you're browsing a web page, yeah, and you're just getting pushed in advertisement. They introduce something like attention score. So that means they want to see how long you're staying on a page. They want to see how long you're interacting with a paragraph. Yeah? And based on that, they will score or calculate your score. That is on time spent. And the scores are from 1 to 7, and 1 is 25 seconds, and 7 is maximum 12 minutes. In that network, it will be possible to adjust that later. That is the current setup. This all happens encrypted on your hardware or in your software on your client side, under your control, not in the cloud, not shared with any third party. You can see it's pretty transparent. And it's extensible because it will be open source. And I'm pretty sure that basic attention platform will be soon used also in chats or in messaging systems. There will be SDKs out on the market that will help you, for example, to get proper advertisement on your Android TV or also on your hardware that you're using, your mobile phones, everything that you can imagine, also on games, because they are all based on your hardware and in your software environment. So we as vendors, when we speak from Publicis Sapient or from your own companies, and we as developers, we can really start developing for them already, and signing up for that system. And that works really cross channels and browsers. Just to give you a bright oversight of how that works, I'm opt-in into the Brave Basic Attention Network with my browser because I have set up that. And that's my software wallet. And you see the button there. And it allows me to only show Brave ads, and I can block cookies. You see that similarly with privacy settings in Firefox and other browsers. But we just need to be aware. This is a business. It's the Brave browser. It's a business, but still you as consumer can get up to 15% even of that value of the showed advertisement. But we can use the BUD that is open source, and that upcoming ecosystem as it's open source in a similar way. So, and that means, for example, that we can tell our customers to get publishers when they are using advertisement on their pages. So that's quite easy to set up there and just log in there. This is my own weblog, and I'm just registered there. And it took me 15 minutes. And I did not have to add any third party on my web page. The only thing that I have to do is load a small script tag that is read by the system, and they just know I am registered. The user will never see that I am doing something with them because it's hardware driven. When I am now browsing it with my browser tells that I'm using it. It's not like a third party that's going across the world. So how is the money moved in that layers? The payment system is set up a bit different, like it's done with third parties. That's understandable. So the publishers are paid by the visitors and by the system. So they are paid for their content again, and for that the users are giving them attention. This basic attention token, just to inform you, is not being there for being something like a currency, and it will not be traded. It's only there to support the system and store that information in there. It's only used in that BUD system. So you have a couple of possibilities here. You can block all still. Fine, you want to protect yourself. But it's up to the content publisher that they say, you can't visit us. Then you have the possibility to pay. You can just say, hey, I want to pay with my BUD because I have registered to that. And then 95 of that, what you pay, goes into the publisher. You remember the numbers from before? 95% are somewhere. The 5% are for maintaining the system. That's the Brave it will be a, how do you say, non-governmental organization, so it will be just an open source organization. And then you have the next possibility where you say you consume advertisement, where the whole advertisement system comes into game. And that means that you can say, I share, but I keep also something as a user, as a browser user, or as a user of the system. And that means that only 55 cents go to the publisher. And when you pay and share, 70 cents are going to the publisher. That's still incredible more than before. And it's private. So as advertiser, you really get valid attention for your investment. You know, before we had that 70% of ad revenue that gets paid to publishers, and now we get 70% paid to the publishers, and 15% can be consumed by the consumers. So your advertisement as a brand, they now match the content. They will, and they will get the attention of your consumers. And if the users like your content, they can even participate to your revenue. There's really the possibility of 95% share for the publishers. Yeah. There are a couple of supporters already. Most people don't know them, or most people are not aware of them. Smashing Magazine, Washington Post, Archive.org has already settled up and is organizing this, or doing it. There are 15,000 YouTube channels already supporting it. So if you are following an influencer on YouTube, you can be pretty sure that if you install the browser or later in the year a plugin on your yet used browser, that you can pay them because you are just happy to pay them. There's no third party anymore. The current model depends on third party tracking, on surveillance, on tracking pixels, scripts, cookies. You all know that. Countless middlemen. Here is no third middleman or third party or middleman involved. This is really a fundamental rethinking of how digital advertisement is delivered. But does it solve the tracking that we mentioned before? A client of us, of Publicis Sapient, came to us and said, we have a video that we want to share across channels and we want to track it. We don't know about how it's consumed. And to be honest, it's nearly impossible. You can't do that. Facebook has its own tracking system. Twitter has its own tracking system. There's the influencer on YouTube. There's your own brand webpage. You maybe have email. You have Twitter. Everything. No one is really sharing that, and you can't make a big data lake out of it and find how it has been used. But imagine you have something like that attention API in between, and in your hardware and in your software, you have plugins that is providing that information. You don't know, as long as the user is not clicking on a link, you don't know which user or what the user is. But you know that it has been interacted with. You know that the user saw your content. The user has interacted with it. And that makes it so powerful because it's respecting your privacy. So targeting will be much more easy with that. You can just imagine there's a lot like in-car entertainment that you're using, or email, your web apps that you're using, or even voice control things like your Alexas at home. It will be just so much more easy. But I did not talk about banners anymore. So where are the banners? The basic attention network will completely do it different. There will not be any banners anymore. You will have something like a notification layer that is supported by the system. And you will get notification like you are used from your iPhone or from your Android. And you can interact with that. You can click it away. And the publisher does not need to take care anymore of the content, of the banner. They don't need to provide a container anymore where they add the banners. So additionally, you also know how long the user has been interacted with it because it's not third party. It's direct data. So Brave already, they forked a couple of networks for creating notifications. You maybe have seen that when you have built something like that already. But they are now forking it, and they are developing it further to make it more usable for us as developers in that system and make it brighter. And just coming back to the Times of India, I would have expected something like that, content. And I would not have been bothered by browsing and seeing this or some other notifications. We can be doing that. It's in the state. It's not fancy. And maybe we have creatives here and say, wow, that's looking ugly. It's up to you. Make it nice. We can do a lot of that. It's ours. It can be our system, and we can develop it. And it's open source. It's on GitHub. You can just go there, and you can just download it. You can fork it. You can create your own applications with it. Just think of your last wait at a bus stop. And You have that banner beside you all the time, and you look on that, and it does not change. But in future, this could be just an interactive ad wall, and you are there nearby with your mobile. And it's just because you have visited something in a month before, it's just showing you something. Or you have a reality gadget, and you see and interact with that. Yeah. I just hope that you did not watch too much Rahul Gandhi before, because seeing that there could be crazy. There's an infinite possibility of interactions. Just imagine, like before mentioned, newsletters, for example. In your email program, you could have the possibility to just see if someone has interacted with that. Or while you pass a place that you have been searching for in Google before, you just get a pop-up in your in-car entertainment. Hey, you have been searched for that a year before. Are you interested to visit that? So what's next? Just recall it. It's all open source. It's up to us. Yeah? And you maybe remember my wallet. Yeah? So I now can store my attention because it's Ethereum. I just store it here. I take it with me, next device. I load it, and I'm able to have my attention there and my proper advertisement. So it's freedom of my attention. We as consumers own our data now. The publishers earn significant more. Focus on content is possible for them again. They don't need to focus on advertisement. And the brands will reach the right people in future. And some of the bad guys will not have a proper business model anymore. So no matter where we are in the digital world, we are ready and prepared now. Thanks.